Right, hello everybody. Let's get drawing. So we're going to go somewhere in the middle and kind of middle-ish. And I'm very lightly going to draw. You can do it lighter. I'm going to do it so you can actually see it. Just a straight line across. And we're going to do a straight line this way, like a cross. And then we are going to do, look at this, it's about, I would say, a centimetre and a centimetre. Two little lines there. Maybe there. And we are going to arch that over there and arch that over there. Now we're going to come up and down. This is very light. If you can try and make it really light. This kind of looks a bit like a glasses, doesn't it? That shape, and then here again, very light. Up this way, down this way. Okay, now we are going to come in from here. We just actually, I've just had a thought, let's measure. So using my thumb, I'm going to measure the distance between there and there. I'm going to measure that. We're going to come in a little bit. So here. Okay, let me explain this. I might give it away what I'm trying to do. Sorry if you can hear Maisie tapping around. Basically what I'm wanting to do is have this two lines here, but this distance from here to here is then going to be the same from here to here. Does that make sense? So basically we get thirds. 1, 2, 3. Without you don't need to draw that. That's just me trying to explain. So you'll have 1, 2, 3. Yeah, let me give you a minute. Okay, so I've completely confused you. So 1, 2, 3. And then, excuse me, we're going to come up, over, and down. Up, over, and down. You might have guessed what we're doing. Up, over, and down. We're then going to come up this angle and down. Up this angle and down. We are then going to come in about that much. You might want to wait for me to draw it. And then we're going to come to here. And this I don't make a circle. This actually is broken up. Here, here. And it goes up. Almost like a hexagon. Is it 1, 2, 3? Maybe hexagon. Like that. Might be a little bit big, but we will fiddle with that. So this is a relatively small distance in here. We'll do a little bit of shading. Now we're going to come here. So we're 1, 2. This one goes down slightly, up. We want these kind of relatively the same size if we can. I want you to rub out that little straight line. Now, I think I can rest assured that you probably know what this is now. So let me actually give you some explanation of how we draw it like this. So when somebody is face on, and you can have a look in the mirror or at someone else later, they're actually the eyes, this gap in the middle between your eyes is actually an eye width, which is what we were basically trying to work out, this gap in the middle. That's when they're face on. It's different as the face turns to 3/4 and things like that, but face on. So that's why some people say that someone's eyes are too close together. They've actually just got small eyes, and so their distance in between is smaller. Or some people look like their eyes are too far apart. They've just actually got really big eyes, and therefore that's why that gap. Sorry, the puppy is digging something. Isla, come here. Come. She's digging one of my plant pots up. Good girl. Stay here. Right. So now that we have that, I don't know how much we're going to get done. She's very happy to see me now. But we will just keep going until I've got a timer on here till we run out. So I'm hoping you have had enough time to do that much. Just give you a minute on my very naughty puppy. Okay, we are going to do, normally we would draw it all out, but because I don't know how much time, let's just do as much as we can so that you learn something from doing the face. Now this tone here is not really dark. It's kind of there. And then we have this kind of corner bit. We're going to come there. Now there is a shape here. I'm just going to get rid. See those the horizontal lines? Let's just get rid of them as well while we're here. We don't want any lines. But did I say horizontal or vertical? Vertical ones. Now on this side there's some shading as well, very lightly. There's a strong highlight in here. This bit is really dark, here down to here, and then there is a softer tone that's not as dark as that goes around here. So it's all about how the eye socket basically works. This is where if you had one of those blenders, or you can use your finger if you want to make it a bit smoother. And this shadow comes all the way around here. Use my finger just to blend that, okay? Now underneath there is a bit of skin with the inside kind of lid there, which is lighter, and then this is shaded, that comes around to there. This is not white, but it's still quite light, but it's not white. So I'm just shading that in. If anything, this bit here is the lightest part of the eye. That comes there. And then actually in this corner, there's a highlight as well. But underneath, where the eyelid protrudes, there's a bit of a shadow. This is where these rubbers are quite good, or that you can actually take little bits out with them. There's a darker bit in there. There's a few kind of eyelashes. Now, when we come to eyelashes, we group them. We do, see, I'm doing it a few together. We don't do little stripy lines because it doesn't look effective. Now up here, quite strong eyeliner. 1, 2. Now they group together there. Few kind of shorter ones. Dark over here. Now this photo, they have some of that eyeliner, so we might not make it as much as it is on the picture. There's definitely a, can't remember what it's called, that kicks out. Like that. So you see the way, remember when, if we did the animals, we keep the pencil on, so you don't end up with this kind of stripy look. Right, now let's go back here. Now we have a darker edge to this point, then it's lighter here, it's then slightly darker there, slightly darker there. I'm just going to let you catch up and call my naughty puppy. Isla, come. Come here. Okay. Now in this corner, so if you know what an eyeball kind of shape looks like. It kind of curves that way. I mean, it curves that way as well. But that means there's always a bit of shade. People always leave the whites of the eyes white, but they're actually generally not. I'm just going to use my finger just to rub that in. So actually the lightest bit is here, here and here. Like that. Now, just going to zoom in. The pupil, again, often circles aren't circles. I know that sounds absolutely ironic, but when we draw them, it looks different than, and then we have a light highlight up here. And then I'm going to shade that in dark, like that. Now, looks a bit weird yet, doesn't look professional, it will do, bear with me. Now, often as well, because of the eyelid coming over, this bit is not light. This bit is generally shaded as well, and so is this bit. So that's kind of we're addressing that way. And this here, so this is where I often will go in the direction. This is the iris, is darker on this side and then lighter on that side. And the more change you get in with an eye, the more realistic it will look, depending upon how. So there's some also, I should just pause a minute. Also some shaded bits up here. I'm going to make that a little bit darker in this corner. And a little bit darker in this corner. It's actually on the picture, it doesn't really matter, but it's a little bit darker than that. Now I've set that kind of what I call my darkest dark. Taking out that bit. I want to come just a little bit darker in here. And put that back in. Sometimes, you know, it's easier to go lighter and then you can always go darker. But what you're doing is all the time you're judging what's darker, what's lighter. I'm going to just take off a little bit of that. Now, this line here is really the socket of the eye. So we always try and think about that first. And then the eyebrow is coming from this corner here. And leave my pencil on. And then I press harder in the places that I want it to go darker. But I don't want lots of single lines. I keep it on and that fills it in. It starts to turn. When it gets here. Now I need more. And then I can go in and I can press a little bit harder where there's darker hairs. But again, trying to keep my eyebrows are so complicated now, aren't they? Compared to how they used to be. And some of these hairs go that way. It's all not just straight up. These ones go that way. These ones come over. Like that. Now, I'm just going to get rid of that bit there. And actually you could smudge it in. I did that rubbing it. But we're wanting to show this eye socket. So I have a little bit on my finger. And that actually can give you, when it's someone quite young, will give you enough actually tone. The more lines you put on, the older someone is going to look. So the more, if you're doing a baby, I've done quite a few baby commissions in my, like the minimum amount of pencil work. Otherwise they age. You end up like a little baby looking like a 9-year-old. So she does have a few lines under there. Poppy's gone to sleep, thank goodness. Okay. Just having a look, darker under here. I thought even if we just draw an eye. That's something. Now let's come over to this one, see if we've got time. Let's actually do the eye first this time. Now this one is in shadow, so the light is actually coming more this way. I've just made that a bit lighter there. This is all dark in here. This is where a softer pencil would be good as well, but you could crisscross as well, or use your finger. So dark, often it's easier to put your darks in first. So I know factually this is all, because I can see the picture, this is all dark to there. This is quite wide shape of dark in this corner, and that comes down to a point there. So just going back to this one, I'm just going to make that highlight slightly smaller, and let's put that pupil in here, and then the highlight is going to be similar size in the same side. Yeah, we don't have one that way or one that way, because you're going to have eyes that look like they're going in the opposite directions. We know this is dark. Let's get that dark in quickly. Now we know this is dark because same eyes to this point, slightly lighter, and there's a dark bit here. That's my dog snoring. This is dark here, and actually this is that dark that you can't really see a difference between there and there. This is not as dark. There is a highlight here, the white bit, so this needs to be shaded in, and this needs to be shaded in. Where's the corner of the eye? Now this is really dark. There is kind of hairs over here that you can't see, and this is all in shadow. So that dark is the darkest. It's dark but slightly lighter, and then really dark here, which we can make darker in a minute. We've got another inside of the eye, but that you can't see from there onwards because this is already dark. So when you have on any object, so whether it's a person, a dog, or an still life or anything, when you've got black and black together, so there's a black bit here, and this goes all the way up, this black section, to the bottom of this eyebrow. And I actually can't see the corner of the eye, so I don't put it in, which is why I didn't do that full shape. You don't need to describe everything in drawing. The brain works it out. So your viewer looking at your picture doesn't need you to tell them that there's an edge of an eye there. Right, this. So with that, you could use that to pull that over or shade it in. Sometimes when we do that kind of smudging, we need to just put it back in again. We have some. Now, in order for that highlight to show up, we need darker on this side. me check my time. We're nearly up. So let's get the other eyebrow in and this shading in here. So we want them similar kind of shapes. I'm doing that just really lightly to give myself a outline. Now this is all quite dark in here, so let's use our fingers, if you don't mind, to do it quickly. And then this is really dark in here. Really dark. And that shape, because remember it's all about shapes, actually comes to here. And that will then be the side of the nose. So noses are a whole different other thing. The important thing when drawing noses is to not outline them. Apart from the nostrils, that's the only hard line. The rest is just shading to describe the shape. There's a hair coming there. Now this one you can't see a lot of the hair. It's because it's so dark. We can shade that in a little bit. Like my paper's quite textured. And then there's a shape where the forehead turns that way down here, and then we have this, the eye socket again, which is really important. Just while I've got this on my finger, this is often what I'll do when you're drawing out a portrait. Let's get rid of those center line now, we don't need that. So very quickly, the tone actually describes it. So there's a cheekbone highlight comes here. Yeah, this is the side of the nose that goes down off the nose. So it really gets you to observe. If you go and look at people or yourself in the mirror, and you'll see these very definite kind of shapes. So the eye socket, the cheekbones, this bit here, which is like the keystone, this is always shaded, this kind of, this shape in between. Eyebrow, I think, needs to come over a little bit more, and we need to stop. But I hope you enjoyed that. This needs to get all really dark, and I'm going to go over your time. Sorry, it's really hard to do a face. But I'm hoping you might have learnt something, that you can do a couple of eyes like that. I will edit it actually, I think, so I can zoom in so you can see in more detail, but I really need to stop. So this is all dark. Okay. Okay, I will leave that a few minutes just for you to catch up. Sorry, half an hour is not very much in order to show you, but you can practice your eyes, then we'll do another lesson on noses or something, and then you can piece together a face. Okay, I hope you enjoyed it, and I will speak to you soon. Thank you, bye.